Hi guys, how are you? As I have clients that come in and out, Zooms, things that I do, and I recently had a Zoom with a chest formation issue, and now I have a client here this week with a chest formation issue. One of the things that happens when you have cerebral palsy, in the development of cerebral palsy, now this could be from too much NICU time. One of my hypotheses is the NG tube coming down. It's too much weight in the chest conditions. One of our practitioners, Scott Davies, works with Quinn, his daughter. One of the things that when he came into my training, she couldn't get extension, she couldn't do any of this, but when they placed the NJ tube, which goes past the stomach and hooks in, you know what I mean, it was pulling on her. And this is one of the things when he was doing my trainings that we were working with her, and he's like, they said this didn't make a difference, and I'm like, yeah, it does, because medical equipment is mass, it's an inorganic matter, and we're organic, and there's also that interaction. There's lots of different reasons. It doesn't matter. I had a good friend of mine whose son passed away when he was about 19. The reason was, it's not so much it was a CP, but his chest formation. Chest was not allowed to expand, and it just suffocated him in the long run. You could see it happening, and it's not easy to convince someone sometimes that breath is movement. So close your mouth right now and just breathe. Just relax, don't think, breathe, but you'll feel your soft tissue in your mouth go up to the nose, right? That's that force. That force of the soft tissue is the same force it counters into where the diaphragm. So now open your mouth, just sort of drop that jaw, and you'll notice you don't have that soft tissue response and you don't have the lungs response. So even, I'm not saying suck, don't go, but just drop the jaw and really try and get a full breath. You're breaking the vacuum, you're breaking different things. I work with kids with trachs with these kind of things. There's lots of different things that affect breath functions, and this is one of them. The munchkin that I'm working on today, his chest is more, and I wouldn't say pigeon-chested, because now everything would come out, right? It's more like it's been pulled, almost like if I took this cloth and just pulled it, right? So this chest is here. So one of the things I have to do to start off with, very similar like a scoliosis, is I've got to go into every curve, not trying to straighten the chest, but every curve. Now, if you take the breathing course too, you want to do that from underneath, because where you want the air is to come in and fill out is here. But I don't want the chest condition to go into that kind of malformation where the malformation now restricts that diaphragm. This is what happens with emphysema, the barrel chestedness, and the diaphragm just craps out, for lack of a better, it can't work anymore. And even though you're giving someone oxygen, cannulation, you still, and the shoulders start coming up and all that, just as a respiratory response. When you're working with a child, when the chest cavity starts to deviate from some of those kind of movements, breathing is a milestone. It's not a reflex, guys. I've presented this in papers. You really need to look at that. And why also? Because you can improve breathing, so it wouldn't be a reflex. These are things that go into the nervous system to create breath. But the formation of the chest, that ability, and the spine, by the way, guys, when you're looking at a child, a baby, the spine breathes, right? It's a fine motor skill. Goes into a gross motor skill, because we can sit there and go, I get it. I can get you to hold your breath all day long. You can't do that when you sleep. Go into your habitual subconscious responses. Breathing is a very important movement milestone. And when children have had oxygen deprivation, swallowed meconium, chronic lungs, IgG levels like my son, it all goes into respiratory. And when you need to force those lungs to breathe versus draw in breath, that's where you work on with movement lesson. Thanks.